Bonjour. Bonjour les amis. Bonjour, bonjour tout le monde, comment ça va? Bienvenue à Paris. Does anybody know where I'm sitting right now? Bienvenue. We are in Paris. Yes, I am out and about again. I am in a fairly elegant part of Paris where I don't come very often. I really don't. So it's nice to be back. I'm surrounded by seagulls and a few pigeons. That's right. I am standing, well, I am kind of sitting really, at the Trocadero in the 16th arrondissement on the right bank. And I am facing the massive Palais de Chaillot with its two wings housing museums, a couple of restaurants, a theater. Bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue. This is Véronique Véro reporting from Paris. I am out and about. I just went to a beautiful museum in Paris called the Cité de l'Architecture, the City of Architecture, and it sits in that wing right there, right where that construction is. So I was standing inside that building for a couple of hours earlier, and I came to see a new exhibit, a photography exhibit dedicated to Paris from the Belle Époque in the late 19th century through the 1930s, and it was fascinating. I took a lot of pictures. I filmed a video for my club members, which they will see later, of the exhibit, and had a great old time, and also took the time to walk around the main part of the museum. I was here a few months ago, but I walked around. The City of Architecture is just such a great place. It's always quieter than most places in Paris, but today in particular it was empty. I see your question, Nan. Yes, there are museums I haven't seen yet. This one, in fact, I haven't come to very often, but it so happens I've been here twice in the last 5 or 6 months because of exhibits. Exhibits is usually what will drive me into a museum. So right now, I am sitting inside a fountain. Usually, there would be water in front of me, all around me. And I probably wouldn't be allowed to sit here. The police would have already kicked me out because I'm facing about 20 water cannons that are extremely powerful. And normally, they would be coming on about, for about 15 minutes every hour on the hour, and they would be spurting all that water towards me right now. So I would not be doing what I'm doing if this fountain wasn't being, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's being cleaned or renovated, or maybe it's because of COVID that they emptied it. In the winter, it can freeze over. I have seen people ice skating on it before. Not very often, but I've seen it a couple times. You can see there's construction going on this wing. See the scaffolding over there. I think there's construction in Paris just about everywhere right now. I'm not surprised to see scaffolding and construction everywhere I go. So I was here for this great exhibit, which I will tell you about later when I share more photos, probably before the end of the weekend. And I thought I would check on an old friend who's standing right behind me right now, across the Seine River from me. And I haven't seen her for a while. I haven't paid her a visit for a while, so I thought I'd do that. And I thought some of you might want to do that with me, actually. It's another hot day in Paris, but it's getting overcast. It's getting really hot, and I think tomorrow or the day after we might have some thunderstorms. It's been unusually hot for September. It's been an unusual year for everything, right? So just to show you what's around me, the Trocadéro has beautiful gardens on both sides. And a lot of people never go inside the gardens. They're quite nice. There are things to see in the gardens as well. You have those monumental sculptures on all sides of this fountain. It's just a monumental place, isn't it? The Palais de Chaillot was built for one of the world fairs that Paris hosted over the course of less than 100 years, actually. Paris hosted about 6 of those, and this was built for the last big one in 1937, right before World War I. So this architecture that you see was really meant to impress. And it does, doesn't it? So the Palais de Chaillot is this place, this complex with the 2 wings that houses museums and restaurants. I'm sure you've been to some of these museums. Right now, the Musée de la Marine, which used to be my favorite because I would take my son there, it would be in this wing. It's closed. It's been closed for renovation for quite a while now. It's dedicated to maritime history. And it's closed, but the Museum of Mankind, that sits in this wing, is open. The City of Architecture, which sits in this wing, is open. So you can still visit quite a few things. If you're just joining us, bonjour, bienvenue mes amis. This is Véronique Véro, long-time travel blogger, a Paris-based tour guide, and the manager of this online community for quite a few years. I thought I'd share I'd live stream a little bit from Paris towards the end of the week. I've been busy at the beginning of the week teaching French. My online French classes resumed this week, so I was busy teaching. But I thought towards the weekend, with a few events we have going on this weekend, it'd be fun to take you around and show you familiar sites or less familiar sites. This is probably a very familiar site. I would hope so. So let's see. I'll say hi in person. It's always nicer. And look at what's next to me. You see her? Mademoiselle Eiffel. Yep, there she is. We're going to get a little closer. If my mask doesn't slip too much, here we go. So, it may not seem this way, but she's actually behind me and she's across the Seine River from me. I am sitting on the right bank in the 16th arrondissement, and Mademoiselle Eiffel is sitting where she's been sitting for a long time, since 1889, on the left bank in the 7th arrondissement. So I thought I'd take a closer look, and you're welcome to join me. But first I need to get out of this fountain, my friends. I am literally inside the fountain right now. So we shall be careful and watch our feet here. Watch where we step. See the construction? There's construction everywhere. And there she is, Mademoiselle Eiffel. Standing against Parisian skies. There's a lot going on by the Eiffel Tower, and I haven't checked it out, so I thought it'd be fun to do that because there are a couple of things happening over there and I want to see what's going on. So why don't we do this together? You see what I'm walking on right now? Well, I'm so glad you're waking up to this. One last peek at the Palais de Chaillot, the massive Palais de Chaillot built for the World Fair of 1937. The one that sat before this one, I thought, was a lot prettier. It was called the Palais du Trocadéro, and the style was really different. They called it Neo-Byzantine style. You should Google it and look it up. It was called the Palais du Trocadéro, the Trocadéro Palace. Let's see, step out of this thing, voila. And now go up the little. Boy, everything's really dry. Getting my exercise for the day here with you, my friends. So I was up there and I looked at the tourists. Usually it would be literally packed with tourists trying to take their picture with the Eiffel Tower. I did help some people get a picture of the Eiffel Tower, but there aren't that many people there today. Look at this massive sculpture. I think the massive is what they were going for when they built this for around 1937. They succeeded. All right, let's see. How do we cross this thing without getting run over? We shall try this way. Bonjour, if you've just joined us. This is Véronique Véro. I am taking a little stroll in a typically very touristy part of Paris by the Eiffel Tower. But today, this month, this summer, it hasn't been that touristy. In fact, it's been pretty quiet. So one thing to know about this area of Paris, it's going to change a lot over the next 3 to 4 years. The mayor of Paris has big plans for this area. And when we come back here in 2024, when the Olympic Games are scheduled here, this whole section is going to look very, very different. There's going to be a pedestrianized area that will start over there behind the Trocadero. So cars will not be able to go around in that circle that you know when you get there. And then, both sides here are going to be heavily landscaped. It will be beautiful. I've seen plans and photos of what they want to achieve. It's going to look great. And the important part is that the bridge here, you see the crazy traffic. I mean, it's not very pedestrian friendly. And so what the mayor of Paris wants to do is she wants to have a way to access the Eiffel Tower from where we stand without having any cars in the way. So this whole area is going to be landscaped, planted, and you're going to be able to walk from the Trocadero, which is what I'm about to do now, without having to struggle with all that traffic on these streets and also on the bridge. So that's what's coming in the next 4 years. So next time you come here, don't hesitate to go inside the gardens. They sit over there on both sides and they're really fun. They're peaceful. Even when the place is crowded, the gardens are really nice. I see the police chatting here. They always check because there are a lot of pickpockets when we have tourists in the area. And so the police is usually here. We also have those people who sell souvenirs. And so the police checks on them. So I haven't been here, like I said, in about a year, maybe a little less. You see one of the souvenir sellers over there. There's still a few, and what they're doing now is they're helping people take their picture with the Eiffel Tower to make some money, because people are not really buying souvenirs. So since I'm a tour guide, I'm going to do the responsible thing and wait for the light to change. That's what I do when I'm around with clients and tour members. I always tell them, wait for the little green man, and here is my little green man. Bonjour friends, if you just joined, this is Véronique Véro taking a little stroll in the loud area leading to the Eiffel Tower from the Trocadéro, where I visited a really cool exhibit, a photography exhibit at the Cité de l'Architecture today. We are standing above the Seine River. Kind of a nice view from here. You see all the tour boats? It's all very quiet, isn't it? This would be one of the places in Paris where you catch a Seine River cruise normally. You'll hear me say that a lot these days. Normally, usually. So I was sitting right inside the fountain over there across from us right now. This is where I started this live stream. If it cuts off, I will be back. I typically read your comments afterwards, because with the sun, I have a hard time reading. Sometimes I catch them as they scroll by, but not always. So my apologies, I'm not trying to ignore you. I always say that so people know. Here's another view here of the Seine River. And the grounded tour boats. The metro on that bridge, and the riverbanks, very peaceful right now. So let's get closer to Mademoiselle Eiffel and check on the on this construction they're going on. No, ever since the terror attacks of 2015, a giant glass wall, as you probably know, has been built or erected around the Eiffel Tower. It's actually pretty hard to get inside the site now. There is high security. They made it of glass so that people can see through it, and it's as aesthetically pleasant as possible, I guess. So no cars driving under the Eiffel Tower. And you cannot just, years ago you could walk under it and walk through, but not anymore. Welcome to the 21st century. I'm really curious about the scaffolding behind it there. I know they're doing a lot of work on the north pillar, I guess it's called. The elevator needed work, and I can Construction, I can see big nets or netting to protect the workers and visitors. You can see, I'm going to show you, you can see netting on the sides inside here above the first floor, and you can see more wrapping up, like Mademoiselle Eiffel looks like she's wrapped up like a present on her top section. And you recognize this color, this custom color that she has been painted in. I think ever since it was inaugurated in 1889, the Eiffel Tower has been painted 18 to 20 times tops. Every time they paint it, it takes about 18 months to complete. The job is done entirely by hand by extremely skilled painters, about 25 of them. It's a massive, massive, I think she's supposed to stop, and I'm going to take a chance. Merci. You know, this pedestrianized area I was talking about that comes from the Trocadero all the way down here actually sounds quite nice. It would be nice not to have to do this with all that traffic. It's just so loud. Everybody's jaywalking. I am not going to jaywalk, and now I can go. So we are now in front of course, the Eiffel Tower, and you can see, for those of you who haven't been back, you can see this glass enclosure that surrounds it. They tell you the access is on the side. There's definitely construction going on. I mean, it's impressive. So we have Notre Dame now wrapped up in scaffoldings. The Eiffel Tower is looking like work is being done as well. Maybe I'll go on this side, why not? Since the entrance is in this direction. So we have our little friends here who make a living by selling baseball hats, Eiffel Towers, and they don't like being filmed because a lot of them are doing this illegally. So if you film them, they'll look away. Or interesting stuff. It's a little busier here than it was at the Trocadero. More Eiffel Towers. If you're just joining us, this is Véronique, Véro. We're walking around the Eiffel Tower to check out on, well, just to check on her. There's also a big project in the works that I'd like to take a closer look at, and I thought I'd bring you along. Boy, there are more sellers than tourists, I promise you. This says exit only. This is where people exit. Oops. And the entrance is farther up. Oh, it's nice here. Shade. Very nice. I'm not quite sure what the status is right now because a few weeks ago you couldn't use the elevators. You could only go up using the stairs. So I'm not sure if they've opened it up now. I did not check before I came here. Here's the entrance. You can see where they have planned for huge lines. Look at these. Nobody's here. Nobody's here. Look at the line now, and it's, let's see, it's 4:30 in Paris. Here's a nice view from the side between those trees. I like this view. Bonjour, Mademoiselle Eiffel. It's nice to look at her from different angles, especially when there's construction going on. Boy, there is a lot of construction. There's a giant scaffolding. You see it right here underneath. And then there's this thing in the middle here and more here. A lot of work going on. And here's the line to get in. Probably the shortest I've seen it in a while. The restaurants are still there. They mentioned the 58 Eiffel on the first floor and the Jules Verne, the famous Jules Verne on the second floor. Frédéric Anton is the chef now. The chef has changed. I hear good things about it. Here's another peek at Mademoiselle Eiffel. Look at that. The trees are hiding Mademoiselle Eiffel. I'm getting closer and closer to that fence to show you. Yes, I can barely see the top. More, more, more. Got it. Shoo. She is pretty tall. We are now on the other side of the Seine River, on the left bank, in the posh 7th arrondissement. Boy, this is all for construction, no doubt. This is all, I hadn't seen this structure here. How about we do this? I want to see the back of this. I think I was here last time in the fall of 2019 for my last Rick Steves tour. It's the last time I've been here. Whee! Boy, sorry. My camera moves are not excellent, but I'm doing my best. So you see the glass enclosure? When I lived in Paris in the 80s, mid-80s, you could actually walk under it. I know, Bob. It's always fun to look at Mademoiselle Eiffel. Boy, okay, so this is really starting to look like Notre Dame. Look at this. Look at this scaffolding here. Look at that. This is massive. Massive. Yes, lots of changes. Well, on the bright side, if you're going to do a lot of renovation work and construction work, you might as well do it this year, right? Fewer people are visiting, so, I mean, look at the construction. I'm glad I stopped by. This is amazing. Not in a good way. You're welcome, Paula. I'm glad you enjoy the tours. They're usually impromptu, like I didn't walk here before I started filming, so sometimes I have surprises. I discover things as you discover them. All right, so even the Champ de Mars is locked up now, so you see the whole central area. And where I'm headed is at the end of the Champ de Mars because of something that's going on that will open at the beginning of the year, and I want to check it out. And I will tell you more about it in a second. So we are now strolling on the beautiful Champ de Mars, where so many historical events have happened, where so many people love to picnic, have a great picnic here, concerts, a lot happens here. Everything looks super dry. You can see it's been a hot summer. Look at the grass, it's gone. The trees are suffering too. Ah, I love this sign. I love this sign. Pelouse au repos. See, in Paris, we can tell you to not step on the grass, but sometimes we just say the pelouse, the lawn is resting. Please don't step on it. It's resting. Oh, thank you, Barbara. Yes, please do. I'm happy to know as an adult educator, I am happy to know that some students might be using some of my content. I find it very flattering. Thank you. Boy, this is really dry. Okay, so now they've let people go. See, this section is open, but this whole section back there is closed. Massive scaffolding. I don't think Mademoiselle Eiffel minds too much. She has seen a lot. It is a pretty day. There's a nice breeze, so it helps. Those poor trees are waiting for rain, and rain is on its way. It should reach us towards the end of the week, maybe Sunday. Thunderstorms and more rain next week, so maybe fall is finally on its way. It's been a long summer. It started during the Paris lockdown, the French lockdown back in the spring. Well, I hope you're enjoying this little stroll. See people resting and enjoying their phones or taking a nap. It's looking quite civilized. Bonjour Sharon, welcome. Yes, that under my feet it's that white sand, you know. It's very fine and it gets your shoes all dirty. It always makes me think of Paris when I see this. I know I'm in Paris. It makes that little sound. And then your shoes are all dusty. Paris dust, not pixie dust. So this is where I'm headed over there, and that's where I'll wrap up. But we're not there yet. So I hope you're enjoying this stroll. I am. This looks quite pretty. Always this great sense of perspective when they design Paris. You know, so the way the streets are laid out, the trees, the landscaped areas, it's all meant to be harmonious and to look really good. This is very quiet, but it looks good. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Camilla. The farther away I get from her, the easier it is to film her. I was asking for trouble earlier when I was standing right next to her. "73 people watching, not bad at all for an impromptu walk." Yeah, I didn't even give you any heads up this time because I was in the museum at the City of Architecture checking out that great exhibit, that great photo exhibit. So I just stepped outside and checked the connection and started live streaming. I didn't have time to warn you. I know Facebook sends notifications and that you know when somebody goes live, so I wasn't too worried. Yee-hee. Time to walk fast. It's got to be something with the fountains. This one's empty as well. And these guys just stepped out of school. We'll cross here too. The same thing I told you at the gardens of the Trocadero applies here. As soon, you know, when you come here and it's really crowded on the Champ de Mars in front of the Eiffel Tower, always check out the gardens on the side, because you can really find some peace and quiet in the back. There are benches everywhere. These areas tend not to be as packed as the grassy area in the center. No, children do not have to wear masks. I think it's, I forgot if it's 11 or 12 years old. I forgot. Everybody else must wear masks or get in trouble and pay a 135 euro fine. Most people are compliant, not all. Yes, Bob, it's a great spot for an apéro. In fact, I'm kind of sorry I don't have rosé with me right now. Since I'm here. Here's another peek at Mademoiselle Eiffel. That's not a bad one. Look at that. Isn't she beautiful? The Iron Lady. Now, I'm a big admirer of Gustave Eiffel, her father. And when I started the French Girl in Seattle blog years ago, one of the first stories I wrote was dedicated to him. So if you go to FrenchGirlInSeattle.com, and I think the story is called "The Eiffel Tower Had a Father." And it tells you about the history. It tells you about what happened here when they inaugurated it in 1889. What happened during that World Fair. Buffalo Bill came. I mentioned a great book you can read about it, as I recall. So when you have a minute, if you haven't read that story yet, go check it out. We are headed towards the end of the Champ de Mars, and the big, beautiful building in the background with the French flag on top of it is the military school. The most famous alumni, or should I say alumnus? Gosh, took 7 years of Latin and I can't remember. That's sad. Anyway, one of the most famous students was Napoleon Bonaparte. Oh, thanks, Ellen. Thanks for checking out the article. I like it. I read it once in a while. I share it on with the Friends with Vero Facebook community once in a while. I'm very proud of that story. There are a few stories like that that I like to share now and then. Very peaceful scene, Friday, late afternoon. Not quite apéro time. Better late than never, that's right, Missy. Welcome. Here's a little place where you can have a drink. Maybe they'd have my glass of rosé. We call these, I don't know if you know that word, we call these buvettes, B-U-V-E-T-T-E. Buvette from boire, which is to drink. And a buvette implies it's usually a very low-key place. You just sit, have a glass of something, just for a drink. Une buvette. That was the old-fashioned name. I don't know that they still use it. Oh, here we come upon another major construction site, and this is the one I wanted to check out. If you've just joined us, this is Véronique Véro taking a stroll. I left from the right bank at the Trocadéro, crossed the river to the left bank, the 7th arrondissement, and we're paying Mademoiselle Eiffel, the Eiffel Tower, a visit. And at the same time, I'm checking out progress on a new construction site I heard about in Paris that I want to see up close, and it's coming up right there. Yesterday, I took you on a stroll on the left bank in a popular street called La Rue Mouffetard, or La Mouffe, M-O-U-F-F-E, as it was nicknamed in the 60s, La Mouffe. And we talked about the history, all the history layers in La Rue Mouffetard, the architecture. So if you didn't watch that, if you weren't there with us, you can catch the replay. All right, so let's be creative here. It looks that this is really fenced in. So I'm going to have to walk out of here to be able to see what's going on. So yesterday, live stream stroll on the left bank, Rue Mouffetard. Today, another one at the Trocadéro and by the Eiffel Tower. Planning to do another one on Saturday, a quick one probably. I'll also have a special event with my club members on Saturday. I'll take them somewhere special. We like to do that once a week. On Sunday, I will be catching up with them. We have a monthly event called Conversations with Vero, where we meet on Zoom and choose a topic, and they voted for solo travel. So we will be discussing solo travel, especially for female travelers, on Sunday on Zoom. So lots of fun events coming up, public events that you can all join, and some events for my club members to thank them for supporting this business of mine. These trees are lovely, just lovely. Time to say another quick little hello. Hello, friends. You haven't seen my face for a while. You're probably wondering what I look like if you just joined. This is my face. Nice to meet you if we haven't met yet. Véronique Véro. Mask securely. Oh, here's the construction site. I need to show you this thing. All right. So this is what I came to see, and I basically brought you along with me. The structure you're looking at looks like wood. Massive structure. Merci, Missy. It's very nice of you. All right, so do you know why I wanted to come here and check this out? Do you have any idea what this is going to be? It's clearly going to be a big one. Do you have any idea? I'm raising my arm as much as I can so you can see. Hey, Trish. There's a delay in the comments, so when you say something, I only see it like 40 seconds later, which is quite annoying. That's a nice view of the military school where Napoleon Bonaparte and many other prestigious officers were students. I'm sure it will be open this weekend since we are having on Saturday and Sunday our Journée du Patrimoine, or Heritage Days. And that's the one time in the year where a lot of buildings that are normally closed are open to the public. It can be a bit of a zoo. Some places you can reserve ahead of time, others not. And for obvious reasons this year, I don't know that I want to line up and be in crowds. So I'm not quite sure what the plan is for this weekend, but you can trust me to figure something out. And, oh! Vero, sorry. Vero pushed the wrong button. Did you just get seasick? That's what happens when you push the wrong button. My apologies. No, it's not a concert that's being prepared here. Look how big the military school just keeps going and going and going and going and going. And it's all the way to the back. I've never been inside. That would be something fun to check out. I'm sure there are many good stories to tell in there. So as you can see, this is a massive construction site. And so the answer to my question, if you haven't figured it out, I didn't see your comments, is this. The answer is right here. It's going to be le Grand Palais éphémère. Éphémère means temporary. This will open in January of 2021. And so what you are looking at is the future Grand Palais. Right here, at the very end of the Champ de Mars, in front of the military school. This structure is going to be a temporary exhibit place, just like the Grand Palais, which you all know, that was built for the 1900 World Fair. The Grand Palais is going to close for major renovations at the end of the year. And so they're bringing a lot of the collections in here, in this structure. And this is why I wanted to come here, because I wanted to check the progress on this. Now, to be honest, it's very controversial. Some people are saying it's going to totally disfigure the Champ de Mars. But I don't know that they had another spot where they could do that. Oh boy, I don't know that I'll be able to get much closer. This is closed here. Accès piéton, piéton, un piéton. That's us, pedestrian. Nice peek here at the facade, one of the facades on the military school. Or from the side here. The sun is smack on the screen, so I can't see anything. I'm not lost, I know I'm in Paris. So, as always, when they do a major construction site, they take the time to actually create signs in French and in English to explain to people, not just visitors, it's also for locals, to explain what they're doing. And so here, see, they tell you about the Grand Palais. It's 120 years old, but clearly it needs work. Here they tell us it requires significant restoration. They don't meet safety and accessibility standards. That's a constant issue in Paris, actually. Paris is not an accessible city. That's what it's supposed to look like. The temporary Grand Palais, they tell us. 10,000 square meters. I don't know if somebody could look it up in square feet. That would be good. And in 2024, Paris is very proud to welcome the Olympic Games. Olympic and Paralympic Games too. 100 years after the last games came to the capital, so it's a big deal. It's an environmentally responsible building, and this is what it's going to look like. So we will find out in January of 2021, at the start of a new year, hopefully a much better year what this Grand Palais éphémère is going to look like. Oh, here's a nice view. We'll be able to see it from here a little bit. You can see that it's like they're building a cathedral. Look at the wood structure. It's huge. And you can see Mademoiselle Eiffel behind it in this little corner here, peeking through. So right now, of course, it doesn't look like much, and I'm pretty sure when it starts raining, it's going to slow them down too. I am headed towards my metro stop for the day, and I will be wrapping up soon. I think we've been going for a while, over 30 minutes, I would say. Oh yeah, was a rather long one. Thank you for staying with me. One last peek at Mademoiselle Eiffel. If I can. It's going to be hard. I'm not tall enough to do it above the fence, unfortunately. Woo! I clearly need to practice with this thing. My apologies. I think it's telling me I'm trying to get it to do things it doesn't want to do. Boy, the military school. When I stay here with Rick Steve's groups, I walk around this neighborhood a lot, but I forget how big this place is. It just keeps going. And what a perfect way to wrap up this walk, since we are in Paris and Paris is in France, then under more perfect way than under des platanes, plane trees, sycamore trees, with some magnificent and overpriced, I'm sure, real estate in the background. I'll say a quick goodbye. Voila, my hair's all messed up. I just want to say goodbye. Thank you for following me today on my little adventure as I was checking out the progress of construction of the Grand Palais éphémère on the Champ de Mars. I will see you again this weekend. Like I said, I will pop in again as I make discoveries during Heritage Days. Thank you very much. À bientôt les amis.